Okay, welcome to a very different video where I'm completely redoing the head of this figure, not just repainting it. You can see it's not great. I did end up modifying a few little bits, but we'll start with the head. To comic book for the movie version. So I completely redid it in Blender. I took a head file from Thingiverse that was for a statue of the comic Spider-Man, which ended up just being a base. In fact, I probably would have been better off sculpting this from scratch from the ball they give you on Blender, because I reshaped all of this. I then smoothed it out so it was just flat, and then sculpted everything back on myself. I think the only thing that I kept were the lenses, but I completely reshaped them with the plastic deform tool anyway. The web lines I ended up inverting because they were raised. I wanted trenches so that I could black wash over it and the black would sit in it. I would personally prefer to do them raised and then paint them, but because of the way the figure was, I've done it this way so it matches. I also need to create a ball joint, which I'll be doing in Tinkercad. Using my digital vernier gauges, I'm going to measure the ball joint of the original, which ended up being 7.63, I think. Yes, 7.63. When you model something to 3D print, if you want a connection, I recommend doing 0.3mm tolerance. So if the object you want something to fit over is 7.6, you render it at 7, or you design it at 7.9. That's 0.3mm, not centimeters or anything, obviously. I think some people say 3%, but no, it's 0.3mm. This is what I've found personally throughout all of my 3D printing. I've been printing for a few years now. 0.3 seems to work very well. But this is Tinkercad. I'm making the ball, and then using this as, in other softwares it would be referred to Boolean difference. Here you can just turn the object into a hole, group them, and it will pull that shape out of the other one. The cylinder here is acting as the socket, and then there you go, grouped. There's now a hole. You want to make it so it's like a little bit above half of the circle, so you've got a lip so it actually catches it on the joint. This is my slicing software, Box. I'm now going to bring those sockets that I just made, pop them onto the build plate. I've already got the 3 Spider-Man heads. They're all the same, it's just for backup. And now it's time to print it. The print time will take 1 hour 42, I think, for this one in particular. You can see a couple of my test shop prints at the bottom that didn't work out very well. That was when I just sculpted the detail and I wanted to see what it looked like. Now, I did want some open hands because that's what he's like in this scene of the movie. I made these last year, but I painted them to match this figure. It's just some steel rod to attach it to the hand. And then, with the 3D prints done, I think I ended up sanding it a little bit on the inside just so it's a better fit for the joint to fit into. Yeah, the socket piece didn't fit properly in the head to begin with, but I sanded that down, glued it together. Once you've got that, I don't always prime them, I probably should. I tend to just drop them and they magically paint themselves. This was red paint with a black wash over the top, just to sink it into the web line so you see them better. It's also a very high gloss white for the actual lenses. I quite like the effect that gave. It surprisingly fit very well on the head, on the socket immediately. The proportions are very nice. I'm really happy with this. The neck is maybe slightly too long, but I think it works very well, nonetheless. All posed up, and a comparison next to the old head, it, in all honesty, does not compare to what you can do yourself. I don't know what they were thinking when they released this. That head is nowhere near close to the movie version. So yeah, very happy with my own work here, which is unusual. I normally find a lot of flaws in it. Yeah, time to add him to the collection here. And you'll see in a second how much I mess about with getting him in the right place. There we go, he's finally in the right place. I couldn't just plonk him down for some reason. But yeah, fits in very nicely with this. There's something that satisfies me about having the original figures of these. You can see I've got the Toy Biz Toby, which I did a restoration comparison video on. I'm going to do some repairs to him. I want to do new joints in him. But yeah, here he is. I hope you enjoyed this video.